2 weeks passed, and my sensations weren't getting any better. They were actually getting a lot worse. The sensations started going up here to the top of my head, starting from around the lower area of my ear and the back side of my head, and it started to move a little bit more up, especially when I sat down. I started to notice that when I started sitting down, it would hit a nerve in the back, I'm guessing, and it went straight up here, and it started to fill my head. And my daughter's birthday was coming, and I was so scared that I wasn't going to be able to make it through the day without crying, because I start to feel that inside, that a bit of that depression and sadness happening. So when her birthday came and everyone and her friends came to the party, I was just trying to pretend to be the regular Roger, happy dad, try to keep my smile up, but deep inside I wanted to cry through the whole entire day. And that was so difficult to do, especially when my mother came over, just trying to hide the fact that nothing was wrong with me, because my mom is a very sensitive person, and if she knew about my fall, and if I told her about the symptoms that I was having, she would have she really would have flipped. So I didn't want to make her worry and make her sad. So I just continued to be, or tried to be, the regular happy daddy, Roger, and luckily I made it through the day. But after the party, I was just like, I started to think, what's gonna happen if this doesn't heal, for Halloween or Christmas or any of the future birthday parties that I have with my other kids. If it was pretty bad today, how is it gonna be for the other special events? So there's a wedding that was happening in a month, and that was going to Montreal for my cousin's wedding, and I was kind of worried because I had to drive as well, because I was switching places with my wife to drive to Montreal, but I didn't really tell my wife about the whole the symptoms. I told her that I was getting a little bit, and I didn't tell her about how when I was sitting down that it was actually worse. I didn't want to worry her too, so I tried to hide that as well. And just driving, I think I drove about 2 or 3 hours there, and that was it was so discomforting to just sit there and holding the steering wheel, but my posture was pretty much stiff. I had to keep my back straight, and I was adjusting every single time just to try to make sure that I was afraid that it was actually gonna cover my whole entire head, but I think I was thinking a little bit too far. Luckily, when we finally arrived, I realized it wasn't that bad. I think one of the hardest parts during that trip was to try to hide it from all my relatives, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my family friends, and just try to pretend that nothing was wrong with me, to keep my smile and to pretend that everything was okay. And I think I did a pretty good job. I don't think anyone really noticed anything different about me. But I started to suspect that my mother was feeling a little bit suspicious, because every time I was with her, I would kind of I have to do something, or I try to stay. I know it sounds kind of bad, but I try to stay away from her as much as possible during that time, during the wedding, because I was afraid I was going to slip, and it might slip out of my mouth I'm not feeling well because I fell or whatever. So we made it. I think I did a pretty good job hiding the fact that I was okay. So when we returned after the wedding, my sensations started to get worse and worse each day. And I started to get even more scared because I was not only getting sensations, but I also was starting to get lightheaded. And then I felt like I was going to pass out at any moment in time. So every time I felt that I was going to pass out, I just drank a lot of water just to keep me hydrated. But after a week or two, I think I started to tell myself, Roger, maybe you're thinking a little bit too hard, just wait a little bit longer. And I started to feel a little bit better, so I started to try things again, like, to cut the grass. So one day I decided I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna cut the grass. And after I was finished doing the lawn, I grabbed the weed cutter, and I was wearing, I think it was these sunglasses. It might have been these sunglasses. So I had to put the sunglasses on because I was afraid, like, when you're weed whacking, you're not gonna get something to fly in your eyes, right? So I put these glasses on, and after I was done, my hands were all numb. And when I took my sunglasses off, I felt as though I never took my sunglasses off. There was like this, I could feel the lines right here. When it's pressed against the side of your head, I could feel it like dug into the side of my head, like I never took my sunglasses off, and that really freaked me out. I was like, this is not good for me. I need to see someone. I started to, maybe I should start to go see a doctor or something, because all that time I never saw anyone, to tell me whether I need to take some sort of medication or whatever. But I remember 2 months ago, prior to my accident, I did go to a dinner. There was a chiropractor that was talking about holistic therapy. And the information was really, really good. It's just that I never thought I needed to go to a chiropractor. So I took that information. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I remembered going to that dinner, and I was like, maybe I should go, call a chiropractor and see whether they can fix me, because I remember him telling me that just through adjustments on your spine can really help you physically and help you in many ways. So I emailed a chiropractor near my area. His name is Dr. Jon Saunders, and he replied to me instantly. And when I heard him email me after I told him about my story, and told him about my sensations, he's like, Roger, come to my office and we'll set up, we'll give you an x-ray, we'll do an assessment, and then we can see what we can do for you. And after I heard him say that, I was like, there's hope, there's a chance that, I can get rid of the sensation. And I was so happy. So I went to see him, I did my x-rays and everything, and he said, come back in a few days and I'll let you know what we can do for you. So I went back a couple days later, and he showed me what was wrong with the back of my head. Obviously there was something wrong right here, and he told me, all we need to do, it's going to be a 1-year plan. You're going to come in, we're going to do a couple adjustments, and after a year, you're going to be totally healed. But before, the first time I actually saw him, I told him my story. There's one thing I'll remember he said to me. He was like, when I told him that I hit my head on the edge of the step, and he's like, wow, you're really lucky, because you could have died. And that really sunk into me. It's like, man, that's kind of scary. I never thought of it that way. And when he said that, I was like, maybe this is a second chance at life or something. I didn't think too deep about it, but I knew that when he told me that really hit me. So after he showed me what was wrong with me and what he could do for me, he basically said, Roger, everything is going to be okay. And when he told me that, I just felt like all these bricks lift off of my shoulders, and I was like, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna be okay, I don't have to worry so much. So after feeling a little bit more hopeful, I started to see him, I think maybe twice or 3 times a week, I think. But the first adjustment was actually, I think, probably the worst, when I think he was like, he did his thing, And after that, I was like, my whole neck was completely stiff. My head was like, it felt paralyzed almost, like it was like numb all over. And he was like, you know, don't worry, it's because of the adjustment. All you got to do is go home, put an ice pack behind the back of your head, and you're going to be fine, you know. But at the same time, even though it felt it felt really awkward, I actually felt really comfortable and at peace at the same time. I think it's because I knew, or I was hoping that, you know, these adjustments is going to heal me. So after 2 months of seeing him, you know, the sensation on the side of my head was still there, but I still had hope, and I knew that I had to be patient because it's not going to be like a quick fix or anything like that. So, you know, I was still very, very hopeful. But there was one day that, you know, I wanted to see if I had put my sunglasses on. No, sorry, not my sunglasses, but my glasses. If I put my glasses on, am I going to get the same sensations I did before? You know, that I think I just wanted to overcome that fear of wearing glasses or sunglasses. So I put my glasses on for only 30 seconds, took them off. And when I took them off, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. Because once I removed my glasses, I felt it again. And for some reason, that really, really ticked me off. Because I had the choice to either, you know, put it on or not put it on at all. And I made the choice to do it. I was so angry at myself, and I was yelling at the top of my lungs. I was pacing all over the house. And there was this dining chair, and I went straight to it. I took my hand and I hammered it on the top of the dining chair. And when I hit it, you know, I felt something strange, you know, like I just felt this whole shock on my back that sent a sensation straight up to my head. And I told myself, I think I effed up, you know. So I ran into my room, and at that moment, I knew there was some sort of chemical reaction that happened up here, because you know one of those glow sticks when you have it and you snap it and then all of a sudden it lights up. That's exactly the feeling I got right after I hit that chair, and that was the day that started the worst. The worst was yet to come, and for my next chapter, I'm going to talk about that. So if you liked the video, please like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.